Africa has grabbed the world's attention. The continent is reporting the strongest growth in any other region except for Asia. Investors have thus far shown keen interest in being part of the region's development, but Africa's infrastructure needs are enormous.
That remains a big challenge all over Africa, but through regional collective efforts, it can be easier to have railways, airports, seaports, and use them jointly, and then speed up the ease of doing business, the logistics, and so on. Same for electricity and so on.
Africa needs $93 billion a year for its infrastructure development projects. Almost half of that is currently funded by the African Development Bank. For the rest, Africa needs investors. According to Ernst & Young's attractiveness survey, despite a 12% drop in foreign direct investment across the world, FDI into Africa is still robust.
So though globally FDI flows have reduced, Africa has managed to increase from a good 3% to 5.6%.
South Africa remains the biggest investor on the continent, with companies like PPC expanding vigorously. Following recent acquisitions in Ethiopia and Rwanda, there are plans in place to begin cement production in these two countries, as well as in the DRC and Zimbabwe in the next 2 years. PPC says it's positive to see the continent has now moved away from resource-based industries and is becoming more diversified.
Countries have to start focusing on the areas of their strength. There are some countries that are good at resources-based industries and others that are not. There are those that are already ahead of the game in terms of services industry. There are those that are much more financial services inclined. And it's just about knowing which country has which strength and making sure that they focus on that.
Africa now boasts some of the fastest growing economies in the world, with an average growth rate of just over 5%. Rwanda is leading the way with a growth rate of over 7%. The country rebuilt itself after its economy was obliterated following the genocide 19 years ago. It has become an example for the rest of the continent.
The key factors is transparency in governance. That's number one. So corruption is not tolerated in Rwanda. Then number two, making easy registration of companies, making easy for foreign direct investors to also work in Rwanda.
But to optimize its potential, Africa will have to start acting as a unified force and not as individual states. While countries like Rwanda, Sierra Leone and Ethiopia are recording strong growth levels, ensuring that growth is sustainable needs a collective effort from all countries on the continent. The African Development Bank says infrastructure development needs to be speeded up so that countries have better integration and better access to the markets. Sumitra, Nydooo, CCTV, Johannesburg.